Hello and welcome to ACS Golf and today's review, which has been released 12 AM UK time on a Friday, which can only mean one thing: it is a current club for 2025, and it is this. It is the Cleveland Halo XL Highwood. Now, this was released in 2024, but it is going into 2025, which is why this review is on a Friday and not on a Sunday with all the other clubs that I review. Um, reason I picked up the channel is, number one, you guys love Cleveland. You're always suggesting for me to review one of these Highwoods, saying it's a great club and potentially, perfect for any golfer out there who struggles with their fairway woods. So but obviously still want the distance of fairway wood, but want something a little bit more compact like a hybrid, which is a little bit more easy to hit. And that's the whole point of this. It's in the middle when it comes down to size of a hybrid and a fairway wood. The idea that it's more compact so it's easy to hit, but it still gives you that fairway wood distance. And that's one of the main reasons why, Cleveland have made this, easier to hit, easier to launch, and a lot of forgiveness for what it is. Cleveland as a brand, personally, I'm a massive fan of Cleveland. My first golf set was Cleveland, very much aimed for those sort of beginner golfers. The fact that they're owned by the same company as Srixon, Srixon is more aimed for those sort of better players, your mid-handicap, your low-handicappers such as myself, while Cleveland has always been aimed at those sort of slower swing speed players, more players who are looking for maximum forgiveness. But definitely over the past couple of years, Cleveland has sort of gone into that mid-handicap range a little bit more, especially the last driver they released last year. Really good driver. Do check out the channel for that review. So is that the same with this? Could I potentially be putting this in the bag? Could this be an absolute weapon for me? If it's easy to hit like a hybrid, but gives me, just as good distance as any fairway would, then why not? As well, being honest, probably the clubs that change the most in my bag are the top end. Definitely the fairway wood. I can never quite nail that one down in the bag. Always finding it a little bit difficult. Well, yeah, just finding it difficult to hit sometimes, and then changing the clubs and finding something a little better and whatever. So, definitely potentially, if there's any help out there and I can still get the workability I want, still get the performance I want, then why would I not put this in a bag? So, yeah, so that's a question we're going to answer. Can your low handicappers and your mid handicappers use this, or is it very much just aimed for your slower swing speed players and also your sort of higher handicap guys? And also, is it fun to hit? That's the main thing about golf, isn't it? Is it fun to hit? So there you go. One of the reasons why we picked this club up. Now, as always, what we're going to do, we're going to have a closer look at this club. We're going to get down to the range after we've come back here and talked all about the technology that's in this. While we're in range, going to throw some figures at you, come back here for the ACS Golf Scale, and then I'll give you my overall thoughts about it. All right, without further ado, let's have a closer look at this club. So there you go, closer look at the club, and it is a good looking club. I mean, Cleveland really recently been producing some really cool looking things. And you can even see some of that sort of technology they've taken off Srixon. You've obviously got that ridge there on the top that's very much from Srixon. They're definitely intertwining a little bit more over the years, but beautiful, beautiful looking club. Doesn't look high handicap, if you know what I mean. If you had that in the bag, whoever you are, it looks smart. So yeah, really happy with that. And also very smart head cover as well. Really, really good looking thing. All right, let's get into all the technology that's in this club. I'm going to read you all the spiel off their website and explain exactly what it is for. So the Halo XL Highwood. Want hybrid control in fairway wood distance? Try Highwood. Its unique design features head sizing and club length between standard hybrids and fairway woods, plus all our latest distance and forgiveness tech. Now you can ditch your duff-prone fairway woods while still maintaining proper gapping at the top of your bag. Sounds perfect. I will mention that the length of this is longer than my 3 hybrid, but just a little bit shorter than, say, a 5 wood or 7 wood. So moving on, what's a Highwood? The Halo XL high wood is both radically new and yet incredibly familiar. So this isn't the first year they've done high woods. They did it in a previous model 2 years ago as well. Maybe your fairway woods don't cooperate on shots off the deck, or maybe you just prefer the feel of a hybrid. Either way, the Halo XL hybrid is designed to fill the space between by coupling hybrid swing, get my words out, hybrid swing feel with fairway wood distance. There you go. Bit of a tongue twister reading all this. So you've got glide rail technology at the bottom there. So you can just see it there. There it is. So 3 large tapered rails along the sole of each Halo XL high wood deliver optimal ball striking and clean turf interaction. Each rail is designed to gently glide straight through the turf so you can maintain club head speed and keep a square face through impact. Plus, they're super helpful from the rough or any tough lie. I'm a big fan of that. I mean, Cobra used to use them for years. I don't think they use them anymore, but anything that's going to help with turf interaction obviously is going to help you, especially if that's sort of that beginner golfer. You might catch a little bit, well, not thin, but maybe a bit thick, and that could definitely help you sort of just skirt the ground, especially when you're playing a bit firmer conditions there rather than just burying it and losing all power out of your swing. And also, wet conditions as well, it can help glide through. So good little bit of technology there. Mainframe XL. So every Halo XL Highwood, I'm going to stop saying Halo XL Highwood, I think, delivers max distance with added forgiveness thanks to Mainframe XL. The Mainframe XL uses a variable thickness face pattern that expands and reshapes a sweet spot for more energy transfer across the face. Inside the club head, AI helped us figure out the best spot to place weight pads for long, high launching ball flight. So AI technology, sweet spots all across the face, they all do it nowadays. They all talk about it nowadays. All the club manufacturers out there. So, obviously Cleveland have got onto that bandwagon as well, as you would expect, to be fair, unless they wanted to be left behind. And as I said, they're waiting there, definitely at the back to help get that ball up in the air, which is the whole point about Cleveland. Makes it a little bit easier to get that ball in the air. So XL head design. So these reworked XL head designs allow us to shift more mass away from the club center. This ups the MOI, delivering more forgiveness and consistency on every strike. They also help feature a high ball step, crown step, which brings the center of gravity even lower in the club head for longer, straighter ball flight. Plus, deep faces create a larger, more forgiving strike area. Just everything about this is friendly strike, get the ball up in the air, it really is. So the average volume of a 3 hybrid is 107 cc, while the Haywood is 162 cc. This is looking at a 3 wood, by the way. And the Halo X3 wood, for example, is 190 cc. So very much in the middle there. If anything, closer to your sort of fairway wood when it comes down to size. And you can sort of see that there. It's not small at all. The rebound frame. This is Strixon technology, here we go. Unlike other clubs, Halo XL Highwoods have the unique ability to flex twice at impact thanks to the rebound frame. Like a spring within a spring, rebound frame adds another ring of flexibility that sits just behind the face. Supported by extra stiffness in the rear of the club head and impact, these dual flex zones activate simultaneously, increasing the amount of energy transferred into the ball. Perfect, exactly what we want. And this is something they do as well. Cleveland have been doing this for quite a while, sort of counterbalancing their club. So Action Mass CB. So Action Mass CB places an 8-gram counterweight at the end of the shaft near the top of your grip. The feel of the added weight in your hands helps the club seem lighter, promoting a more stable, controlled backswing. It also helps promote a more inside swing path, squarer club face with impact, and ultimately straighter shot. Great. But then if you're trying to work it and you want to have that workability, is that going to affect it? Is that going to make it a little bit more difficult? We'll discuss that at the end. But there you go. There's all the technologies in there. You can get this in 2 sets. So you can get it 3 plus, which is basically loft of 17 degrees, volume 162 cc, length 42 inches. In my mind, that's sort of a 5 wood replacement. Yeah, I said 5 wood replacement because of the size of this, and it's close to that loft of a 5 wood. And then you've got the 4 plus, which I've got here, which is 20 degrees, 147cc, length 41.5 inches, and that's more, I'd say, close to your 7 wood, I would say, personally. I think that's more of a 7 wood replacement. I think if they wanted a 3 wood replacement, they'd have to make a 2 plus, where, it'd have to be down around 15 or 14 degrees, which I don't think 14 degrees would be that bad for this type of club. I think with all the weighting, etc., I still think you'd be able to get it in the air quite a bit. Just a shame they don't do that, to be fair. But again, yeah, I don't know why. Maybe they think they're worried going to take some market restriction or something. But yeah, shame they don't do that, because potentially I think that would be a little, 3 wood replacement. Yeah, I think they really have the market there for that. But never mind. Anyway, so there you go. There's all the technology that's in this club. Now let's get down to the range. I'm going to throw some figures at you, and then we'll come back here for the ACS Golf Scale. All right, see you in a bit.
Jump straight into those figures. So on average, I had a carry of 192 yards, total distance of 208 yards, ball speed 130 miles per hour, launch angle 14, and height 69 feet. Not bad numbers for a cold winter's day when, let's be honest, I'm not swinging at full power. Normally, if I'm comparing this to, say, a 3 hybrid, which I think this is what would be a replacement for, I'm sort of looking more towards 210 plus total distance, so not that far off it, to be fair. Longest on the day was 204 actually carry, and 215 total distance when I got a bit more warmed up and could really swing with a bit more power. So really not bad figures. I mean, one thing I will mention about this club is it's so easy to hit. You can really get it in the air. It's easy to launch. It's very forgiving. It's a joy to hit as well, and it makes golf fun. And that's the whole point, Once I was practicing with this, I kept on wanting to hit it. Took it out on the golf course as well, and I enjoyed it on the golf course. When I needed to hit it, very comfortable behind it, and I knew the results were going to be good, which they were. But even though, as I mentioned, it is winter, I would have liked a little bit more distance. This club is technically bigger than a hybrid. Sort of thought maybe I would have got a bit more distance. But overall, very happy with the results for you. And as I mentioned, not bad at all. That longest was really nice. 215 total yards, 133 ball speed. Really happy with that. Launch angle 15 degrees, height 87 feet, maybe spun up a little bit, which I'll discuss later on. Shortest on the day, just getting to 201. I mean, that was a really, really bad hit, to be honest. So really does show the forgiveness of this club, which, is really high. And that's the whole point of it. It needs to be easy to hit. It needs to be forgiving. And definitely with these numbers, to be honest, it definitely showed that. So happy.
So there you go. Okay performance. Forgiveness-wise, amazing. We'll get to the ACS Golf Scale in a second. But distance-wise, does it have the distance of a fairway wood? In my mind, no. For me, it doesn't. There is one problem with this club. A lot of reviews out there that I've read about this, which I always do, whenever I review a club, I don't just go by my word. I also make sure, go from a lot of other opinions, read, and just see what other people think about it as well. Because I just want to give you guys a whole broad scenario when it comes down to this. And a lot of people with quicker swing speeds say this spins too much. So you lose distance. It balloons up in the air and doesn't perform how they want it to perform, which again sort of falls into what Cleveland sort of do, which annoys me a little bit because they sort of moved away with it with the driver last year, and I was hoping they'd do that anyway. But this definitely, I would say, is probably for your slower swing speed players, really, or your average swing speed players. If you're getting quick, can definitely spin up quite a bit. And I think I noticed that in a few of the shots as well, especially the fact that even though it's winter out here, I am trying to swing a little bit quicker. But not the end of the world, the distance. As I said, this is sort of a 7 wood replacement. My 3 hybrid was 19 degrees. I would expect it to be around this length. But my 3 hybrid was longer than this. But then my 3 hybrid is a beautiful QI 10, tailor-made, which are just monsters. If you ever want a really long hybrid, or fairway wood or anything, go down the TaylorMade route, because they've always been made absolute monsters over the years. So not quite, not necessarily unsurprised that that didn't quite match up, but it's all right. It was all right distance. But when I really went for it in that video, when I only fell over at the end, as you saw, 204 carry, really happy with that, 215, total distance. For a club like that, it's only a rollout with like 11 yards. It's really not that bad. You get that in front of the green, it's rolling on, it's sticking. So that's really when I went for it. You could tell, obviously, then the speed was quite up. The spin, sorry, was quite up. 133 miles per hour ball speed, launch angle 15. You know, and went height of 87. It just span up. Because a lot of the others where the ball speed was a bit slower and had the 15 degrees launch, it didn't get to that peak. You could just tell that it was spinning up a little bit if you really went for it. But yeah, average 192 yards total carry, not bad at all. 208 total distance, not offensive. 3 hybrid, I expect to sort of be around that sort of 210 plus, so just a little bit shorter than that, especially in winter anyway. In summer maybe a little bit longer, but in winter probably above that 210 plus. So not the end of the world. Ball speed pretty good, 130 miles per hour. Launch angle great, 14 degrees. Height 69 feet. It really did launch a ball into the air really nicely. And I've actually taken this out on the golf course because I was definitely thinking about putting it in the bag, and there's been quite a few shots where out of the rough and everything like that really have popped up in the air very nicely. So it is a handy little thing. So going into the ACS golf scale, so let's really delve into this now. So we've got distance, feel, looks, price, and forgiveness. Remember, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. Distance, I'm going to 3 out of 5. It's not the shortest thing in the world, and I'm sort of basing this sort of on a hybrid category rather than the fairway wood category, because I feel like it'd be a bit unfair putting this against fairway woods in my mind. So it's in that sort of hybrid category that that I do when I do the ACS golf scale, because I put every club in a category, because I can't be putting a fairway wood against a driver, can I? Because it wouldn't be fair. But yeah, so in the sort of hybrid category, I'm still giving this 3 out of 5. So it's not even at the top of the hybrid category, because I just wanted more from it. I wanted more distance from it, and if I had a little bit more distance from it, I think this would definitely be going in a bag. But because that hybrid does give me that little bit more distance, I'm sort of pushing off it. Maybe if I went the 3 route, 17 degrees, maybe that would give me the more distance, but then that might go a little bit longer than my 300. So not necessarily the right gapping for me, but 3 out of 5 is not the end of the world. As I mentioned, 208 average, got a few over that 210 mark, which is good. So yeah, not the end of the world. But don't expect this to be a rocket ship, because it's not. And that's the thing about Cleveland, they're not necessarily a rocket ship. If you want the really max distance, you'd be going, if you wanted to stick with Dunlop, then you'd be going down Switzerland route. Feel wise, 4 out of 5, very nice off the face, to be fair. I do like the rebound frame feel. Yeah, nothing really bad to report about that. Felt relatively soft, felt nice. It did feel nice. Could I tell mishits? Relatively, not a huge amount, but I definitely could. So yeah, 4 out of 5. I did enjoy the feel of this club. Looks wise, I've given it a 3.5 out of 5, which, it is a smart looking club. I do like the bottom of it. I think it looks very smart. But for me, it's that hosel there. It looks like it wants to sort of go that way, which I don't want. Someone who hits a draw, if you see my weird setup, I generally always hit a draw, and to have a club that looks quite closed with that hosel there, just not for me. So I'm going at 3.5 out of 5, because I think overall it looks really, really nice. I just don't like the hosel on it. It just looks like it wants to be closed, and it looks like it wants to go left, which is just the worst thing for me. Don't really get me wrong, I have sliced this, so it can still be sliced, but yeah, just don't like the way the hosel goes into the face at all. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5, because generally, overall though, forget the hosel, it is a good looking club. Moving on to forgiveness, as you'd expect, 5 out of 5. This thing is so forgiving. I mean, that one, well, all right, only got it to go 201 yards, still had a ball speed of 128 miles per hour. Launch 13, height 17. I mean, I nearly missed the whole face. It was an atrocious hit, and it still went 201 yards. Total distance with a carry of 184 yards. So the carry wasn't even that far off, and even the 201 isn't that far off the 208. There's ample forgiveness in this. Do I think if I was going to compare it to your most forgiving fairway wood? No, you're not going to be that. It's a bigger club. You can move away around more. It's not going to be as forgiving as that. But if you're putting in a hybrid category, you're going to find it really hard to find a hybrid that is forgiving as this. Don't get me wrong, there are other oversized hybrids out there. Callaway do a few every now and again, which will probably have forgiveness as much as this. But if you're putting in a hybrid category, which I am, 5 out of 5. You know, really, really good forgiveness, as you'd expect, and really easy to launch. And that's the other thing. It's really easy to launch. It's easy to hit. It's fun to hit. It's forgiving. It's great. Just want the distance a little bit more personally. Now on to price. Now the high woods for Cleveland tend to hold their price. Even Cleveland in the whole actually nowadays starting to hold their price a little bit more because a lot of beginning golfers, know and trust Cleveland, so they'll go for it. Um, and also a lot of the slower swing speed players out there go for Cleveland because they know, they trust it. So number one, the price tends to stay relatively high-ish, and also it's really hard to find a stiff flex one, which I play. I actually did find it, this stiff flex. There's actually an upgraded shaft in it. So I did manage to find a stiff flex, but it's really hard to find stiff flex for Cleveland woods, especially because they just don't sell that many. Really odd. It's the way it is. But in eBay, even though this is a new club, because it has come out in 2024, we are going to look in the second-hand market as we normally do with all other reviews, and it ranges. I've seen it go for £175, which is just under $220, all the way down to like £90, which is like $115. So there is quite a big range. I think the average is probably around £120, £130, which is what, $150, $160. I think if you're getting it for that price, it's a really good deal. Bit over it, not the end of the world. A bit under it, perfect. Brand new at the moment, they're going for £189, around $210. Can't complain about that. And off Golf Bidder, so second-hand store in the UK, you're looking starting at £140, which is around $175. So price, I'm getting it 4 out of 5. It's not a bad price. It is a good club. It's fun to hit. It's easy to hit. If you're a high handicapper with your average swing speed, or a slower swing speed, or someone who just wants to be able to hit a club and get it to go straight and have fun, it is a great club. So yeah, 4 out of 5. So there you go. So what are my overall thoughts about this Cleveland Halo XL Highwood? Overall, as expected from Cleveland, it is a great feeling, great looking, and great forgiving club. It really is. I just want them to potentially work on the spin a little bit, get the spin down a little bit more, which is quite hard to do when you're looking at maximum forgiveness, but get that spin a little bit down a little bit more so that your average players, fast swing speed players can pick these up and have a lot of fun with it, because I just feel like a lot of guys who I know who probably want to play Cleveland just can't because they swing too fast for it. Who could use that forgiveness, who could use this versatility of having a high wood, something that's in between that hybrid and fairway wood, and I feel they're just missing out. And that's including myself, to be honest. If this had the same distance as my three hybrid, I'd probably put this in a bag and I'd hit it out the rough. I've been able to hit it well. I can hit it low, I can hit it high, hit it low. You can work it a little bit. Don't get me wrong, that hosel means it does want to go that way a little bit. But yeah, if they could just a little bit more distance, a little bit less spin. For your average player, it would be great. However, for the target audience that Cleveland is still sort of going for, it's brilliant. If you're not, beginner golfer or average golfer, just it is a great club. If you do struggle with your fairway woods and you're not too fussed about distance, you just want to get on the fairway, even if you've got a quicker swing speed, it's definitely something to give it a go. And to be honest, as I mentioned, it's probably not going to go in my bag, but there is a part of me that really wants to put it in there because it is so easy to hit and it is fun, and that's the main thing about golf. So maybe I do. Maybe, who knows? I doubt it, but we'll wait and see. But anyway, guys, I've hoped you've enjoyed my review of the Cleveland Halo XL Highwood. Let me know down in the comments down below, do you have a Highwood? What are your thoughts about it? How do you like playing with it? Do you really enjoy it? If you've got a fast swing speed out there, so say your driver's averaging 100 plus miles per hour, do you use this? Do you find that maybe it spins a little bit too much for you? Do let me know in the comments down below. As well, if you enjoyed this video, do give it a like, and also remember to subscribe to the channel for weekly ACS golf reviews that come out every Sunday. New clubs like this every now and again on a Friday, and a few Versi videos and things as well, and even more content going into 2025. Alright guys, I'll see you soon for the next ACS golf video. See you then. Bye bye.